does that mean you're auditioning? Well, technically, yes, you are. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are talking conversations you should not have on a first date. First dates are beautiful, and I know that they can be very awkward sometimes because you're just trying to get to know the person. There's a lot of nervousness going on. You're not sure if they're going to like you. They're not sure if you're going to like them either. So everyone is very intentional and checking the next person out. And more often than not, the littlest things can just put the other person off. But before we go into the conversations we shouldn't be having on a first date, I'd like to say, when you're going on a first date, one question that should be on your mind is, do I like them? Because oftentimes we always think, oh, will they like me? So you start looking for the outfit to wear, especially for we girlies. We do this all the time. We're always overthinking everything. I'm saying this because I've been in that situation before where I'm going on a first date. I'm very nervous. I don't know what to wear. I don't know how I'm supposed to behave. It's just really awkward because you're thinking, oh my God, is this person going to like me? Because you're just trying to put your best foot forward. But in this case, I'm talking to you right now. What you should have at the back of your mind is, do I like them? Because when they're coming on that date as well, the man is oftentimes thinking, do I like her or will I like her? So rather than putting yourself in that very uncomfortable situation, I mean, first dates are already uncomfortable. So now double the discomfort. You're now thinking, oh, will they like me? No, you should be the one asking yourself, will I like them? You should be confident. You should put your best foot forward, dress nice, look beautiful. But the most important question, do I like them? Now let's get right into the conversations you shouldn't be having on a first date. Number one, talking about your ex. Guys, don't do that. Because first of all, you know you're very comfortable with the person. That safety that you have with someone you're already very conversant with or someone that you already talk to all the time is not there yet. So just trying to get to know this person. And already talking about your ex, sometimes it might give off the energy that you aren't over them yet. And that can ruin your chances of getting to know this person better. So just stay away from your ex. If they bring up the conversation, you can mention that, oh, I don't want to talk about that right now. Or even if you talk about your ex, this is taking me into my second point. Never talk about your ex in bad light. And that's if they bring up the conversation, not that you just randomly bring up the conversation when both of you are talking. Do you get what I mean? Exactly. But if they ask, you can talk about your ex, but don't dwell on your ex for too long. Okay? Don't dwell on your ex for too long. Just keep it short, keep it brief, and keep it light. Don't go into details. But then if the relationship gets further and you guys start to talk and they ask you about your ex, never speak about your ex in bad light. Let me tell you what that does to you and for you. I read somewhere that men often will treat you based on how you talk about your ex. So if you talk about your ex in bad light and how they treated you badly, how they weren't picking your calls, how they were not nice to you, it signals something to them like, okay, maybe you're really not all that. Because if you're this gorgeous, if you're this beautiful, why did your ex treat you like that? We're about to find out. So you want to let them know that your ex treated you right, but it just didn't work out. Now, I'm not advocating for you to start telling lies on your date. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying you skip some information from the first date. When you get comfortable with them and when the relationship has built a level of trust, you can now begin to spill and tell certain things. But at the very beginning, which is the first date where you're trying to make a very fast impression, do not talk about your ex at all. But if you do not talk about them in bad light or talk about how badly they treated you. You can skip that information. Even if you're still hurting or feeling bad about how your ex treated you, never talk about it. Just say something, find something to say, but never tell them that your ex was treating you like garbage because you aren't garbage. Up next, never talk down on yourself. I know sometimes we're always trying to form like, oh, I'm very humble, I'm very down to earth, I'm very accessible, I'm friendly, I'm nice, I'm jovial. And sometimes we don't want to come off as arrogant. And in the bid to be humble, we then talk down on ourselves, and that's so wrong. You don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to have that kind of impression. That's not what you want to carry along with you in this new phase or this new relationship that you're about to get into. So no, never talk down on yourself. You see, one thing about going on a first date, and I think that's the thin line between being yourself and trying to create an impression. How you oftentimes begin a relationship can determine how the relationship eventually pans out. So on the first day, you're trying to make the best impression that you can. You're literally putting your best foot forward. Some people can say, oh, does that mean you're auditioning? Well, technically, yes, you are. The other person is also auditioning for you, so it's an audition for both of you. So if you were going for an audition to get a role for a blockbuster, wouldn't you put your best foot forward? Right. But this is a relationship. This is a lifetime journey you might just be having with this person. So you always want to put your best foot forward. Again, eventually you might get to relax in the relationship and that'll be your authentic self. But that's after you've built trust after a while. I'm not saying don't be authentic. I'm not saying don't be your true self, but don't be too relaxed and too comfortable. Still make it, yeah, you get the point? You get the point. You know, when you get into a new space, you're very observant, you're just calm. That's what a first date should be like. So, number one, don't talk about your ex. Number two, even if at all you talk about your ex, never talk about them in bad light. Number three, don't talk down on yourself. Number four, I think I mentioned it a bit, be authentic, be your genuine self, but don't be too authentic. I'm going to explain what I mean. Some of you might say, oh, are you saying we should be fake? That's not what I'm saying at all. When I mean authentic, people think, oh, plus all my flaws, all my inadequacies, all my insecurities. You have your flaws as a person. Nobody's perfect. But when I mean be your authentic self, be your authentic best self. Do you get that? Be your authentic best self. You can write that down. Yes. So when you're being authentic, pick the authentic good parts of you because every individual has their strengths and their weaknesses. So point out your strengths more on the first date. You're authentic that way because you're putting out the good parts of yourself. And it also dates back to my third point where I said you shouldn't talk down on yourself. Instead, what you should be doing is talking more about your strengths and the good part of you. Be elegant, the way you sit, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself. I know sometimes you're not always very conscious of that, but on a first date, please, this is something you should be conscious of. The way you sit, the way you talk, the way you laugh, but I really oh my god, no, girl, you have to be elegant. It's a first date. You are trying to make an impression. And I know sometimes you get really carried away because, oh, I want to be authentic. But please, girl, be your true best self. Be your authentic best self. I think with these few points of mine, I've been able to tell you a few things that you should do on the first date and conversations you shouldn't be having on first dates. If you have any more comments or anything else to help the girlies in the comment section, please do well to drop in the comments. Until my next video, bye.